I'm James, and this is Recap 3.0. Today, I will tell you about the second season of the fantasy drama from 2020 Warrior Nuns, based on the series of comics of the same name by artist and writer Ben Dunn, because of this sort of thing now. While swimming in the pool, Ava recalls what has happened to her since she went from being a paralyzed simpleton to a warrior nun wielding a mystical halo. The girl's musings are interrupted by a phone signal, reminding her of your duty. Once a member of the Order of the Cruciform Sword, she's now in a hurry for your regular job at the cafe, arriving for her shift. Ava listens to customers talking about the explosion at the Vatican, and rumors that it was Angel Adriano himself who broke out of the basement, proclaiming himself a mission. McGill intervenes in the company's conversation, mocking the legends about angels and the miraculous cure of the infected, calling a drill an imposter. Left alone with Ava, Miguel tries to get her opinion, but the girl says she doesn't think about the subject at all, fearing that she might expose herself. A colleague asks Ava to go upstairs to her boss's office, and Beatrice also asks a friend to talk less to visitors about legends, so as not to draw suspicion to herself on her way home in the evening. Ava can get away from the prophet fanatics, handing out religious leaflets. One of them annoys the girl so much that she uses the power and pushes him aside. Meanwhile, in the monastery in Spain, having finished watching videos on social media with your friends, Camila goes down to see Mother Superior. The woman instructs the girl to go to London. According to the order, one of the ministers is possessed by a demonic ghost. The girl agrees without any complaints, but Mother Superior sees that something is bothering her. Camila confesses that there is no way she can come to terms with Mary's disappearance. Portugal's drunken father, Vincent, always walks looking over his shoulder, and it turns out that that's for a good reason. Out of nowhere, he's attacked by Lilith, and the older man can only save his life by telling her that Mary is alive. The Bishop of the Vatican agrees to an audience with Noon Yasmin Monet. The girl says that she's preparing an article about the lost Christian artifacts, but she immediately directs the conversation to rumors about Adriana and the attack on the Vatican. This changes the bishop's mood, but the nun keeps pushing, claiming that she has learned about a particular female order in the course of her investigation to avoid spilling the beans. The priest ends the meeting, but the woman isn't upset. She has managed to hack into the network. Jillian sits by the archway, which has finally begun to come to life, but the field still hasn't stabilized, and the girl can't get through the portal. Any attempt to use the portal ends up leaving burn marks on her hands. Christian is thrilled by his colleague's discoveries, but he guesses that she's only driven by a desire to find her son, Michael, who has disappeared into another world. Christian asks Gillian to sign the renovation documents for the building he bought for the company architect. After looking at the papers, the woman begins to doubt their contents. But deciding not to offend a friend with mistrust, she signs them. Ava continues her training by running over water, but at one point, her strength leaves her, and she falls. The girl admits to Beatrice that she started off sitting around while Adrian gained strength. However, her older friend reminds her that they have an uphill battle ahead of them. Christian arrives at the Vatican and declares that Gillian has given him complete control of the architect. He wants to merge the company with the church on condition that the bishop accepts the appearance of a new prophet, Adrian. The bishop realizes that the impostor has fooled yet another fanatic. Miguel comes back to the bar and confesses to the girl that he volunteers in the community of Samaritans fighting Adrian. They need people like Ava, Mother Superior, and Susanna to call the bishop and ask the Vatican to intervene. Adrian is gaining strength, and he has managed to fool hundreds of Catholics already. The priest believes that it is too early to sound the alarm. First, he should make a statement that Adrian is an impostor. And if that doesn't work, call on the Order of the Cruciform Sword for help. Yasmin overhears this conversation. She has just received a confirmation of her hunch. Vincent arrives at his residence and escorts Lilith inside, telling the guards that she is his friend. Ava convinces Beatrice to have some fun and have a couple of shots. The girls are having carefree fun. Meanwhile, at the Italian convent on her way to dinner, Mother Superior sees a gruesome picture. The bodies of the nuns in crimson puddles lie in the parish yard at night. The nuns return home from the bar, and Ava notices Miguel, who is acting strangely. She decides to follow him and witnesses the guy getting beaten up by a crowd of fanatic hooligans. Ava helps her friend, and they are joined by Beatrice, who didn't really like a suspicious guy before. The young people tell her about the Samaritans, and the nun decides to accept Miguel's help in their fight against Adrian. Meanwhile, Mother Superior tries to warn the other monasteries where members of the order are based. However, the light bulbs on the map go out one by one, which means the warrior nuns are either destroyed or they leave their outposts. But seeing that the members of the sect are leaving with some cargo, the friends decide to follow them. Mother Superior orders Escamilla to pack their things so they can hide and lay low as soon as possible. But suddenly, the nuns notice the delight on the map has not gone out on the Madrid cell, which means there are still living members of the order out there. Father Vincent leads Lilith into the prison, promising that Mary is sitting in one of the cells. But as soon as the witch comes inside, the priest locks the door behind her. On the other side, dozens of warriors come out at the girl, but Lilith quickly dispatches them. The company watches as fanatics stack a prayer circle with a cross in the field and begin to pray. At this point, Ava's attention is attracted by a strange sound and turns around. The girl sees a cloud of locusts rushing at them on their way back. The friends try to explain what they have seen and see how the girls are calm about everything. Miguel suspects something is wrong. Ava has to confess that they are the nuns of the order, but he takes it as a joke. Left alone, the girls decide that everything that is happening is a biblical execution reproduced by Admiral Mullen. Siberian and Camilla fly to Madrid and look for the headquarters of the order, which is housed in a flower store from the scattered flowers. Something terrible has happened here as well. Yasmin confesses that she summoned Mother Superior to show her the bodies of the dead sisters. The nuns try to find out how Yasmin knew about them, but she says she can only reveal the truth to the warrior nun. Miguel comes to Ava's work and invites her to interrogate one of the firstborn steeds to sneak away. The girl cuts your arm, but the wound immediately disappears, much to Miguel's surprise. Beatriz asks her friend to stay out of it. The Samaritans have illegally kidnapped a man, and they shouldn't get involved. But Ava stubbornly does her own thing. Yasmin suggests that the nuns take up residence in her room, but they do not want to risk it. The women choose their hiding place and put the stranger to sleep so that she won't see the path they take to get there. Meanwhile, Lilith escapes from the prison and arrives at her mother's house. Miguel brings his new friends to the Samaritan headquarters, and when the boys begin interrogating the prisoner, Ava sees the devil in him. Further, Vincent arrives at the main square, and seconds later, locusts appear there. The townspeople become scared. Suddenly, Adrian appears and saves the terrified people, thus earning a new addition to the army of fans. Even the priests from the Vatican begin to believe in Adrian's power. The bishop speaks with his subordinates, demanding that the impostor not be glorified. The mother rebukes Lilith for losing the battle for the halo and for failing to live up to her hopes by losing her place in the order of the cruciform sword. Yes, a man comes to his senses and tells the nuns that she grew up in a family that helps the order. And now, the girl must find the owner of the halo Ava and give her her secret. Looking at Ava, the prisoner recognizes her as the owner of the halo and demands that she return it to its proper owner. Adriel then snarks that she has acted out, but he breaks the ropes and frees himself. The demon proves to be very strong, and the warrior nuns cannot defeat him until Ava activates her halo and banishes the entity out of the boy. Ventris hurries to get your friend out of the way to avoid any more questions. Adriel shows up at the bishop's office and offers to join forces, admitting that the boy is indeed the Son of God. But just as the priest refuses and asks the madmen to leave, Adrian displays a couple of tricks demonstrating his power. The prophet goes, but his offer still stands. Despite the gravity of the situation, Ava is excited about her trip to Madrid. Finally, the girls find the flower store where Mother Superior has left a movie ticket for them. The nuns have to scramble to avoid falling into the hands of the hunters on the street. The girls spot a tail and have to get rid of it, but in an alleyway, they are awaited by Vincent, who puts Beatrice to sleep. The priest tries to convince Ava that Adrian is the true prophet, and that she should go with him to return the prophet's halo. But the girl fights and manages to defeat the older man. The girls make it to the movie theater, where they finally meet Camilla. The nun takes her friends to the hiding place, the cellar beneath the cinema where old Mother Superior is already waiting for them. The older woman gets straight to the point. She tells the sisters about the attack on the order and says that the time has come to do her duty. Yasmin comes out to the girls, and when Avery is beside her, the girls spend and glow blue. and she recognizes the warrior nun. Now, Yasmin can reveal the secret of how to defeat a drill. Julian offers Lilith to cure the problem with a pass through the archway, but the girl realizes that the doctor needs it in order for her to find his son there. Yasmin tells the girls about a crown of thorns that can defeat the imposter. Meanwhile, traitors begin to appear in the Vatican among those close to the bishop as Yasmin continues talking about the crown. She reveals a secret. The thorny garment is not only a means of torture, but it also disempowers the likes of Adriel. The only problem is that the wreath was stolen years ago and is now stored in a museum. But Ava doesn't see this as an obstacle, and the girls go out on a tour, turning off the cameras and distracting the guards. The nuns head for the exhibit. However, the only way to know that it's the proper wreath is for evil to touch it. Lilith makes up her mind, and, wearing a special suit, she enters the archway. But a second later, she's thrown back. She was shocked because she felt that she had been on the other side of the portal for almost 2 hours, and she was clearly not welcome there. The bishop goes down to the prison to visit the trainer and learn from him how Adriel creates the punishments of heaven to make the prisoner more talkative. The priest tries medieval torture methods on him. At first, the imposter henchman tolerates the pain, assuring him that Adrian is the natural son of God, and all miracles are real. However, when the torture becomes unbearable, he admits that the prophet is collaborating with an architect, and the company uses its technology to create illusions. Lilith tries to understand why someone threw her out, and Jillian promises to deal with it next time. But the girl has no intention of entering the archway again, and she makes that clear to the doctor. After the conversation, Lilith disappears, forgetting the cross in the office. At night, the girls return to the museum to retrieve the crown. Mother Superior, and eliminates the guards. The group of nuns sneaks in, sending old camera footage to the security monitors, and turning off the laser alarms using the halo. Ava takes the crown, but nothing happens to it, and her friends ask Yasmin to help. Jillian decodes the tape from Lilith's camera, and as she speeds up, she sees someone's face on it. At the same time, the nuns search for the real wraith. Camilla notices that there is someone else in the museum beside them. Ava finally finds the artifact, but at that moment, Camilla sees a drill, and Vincent appears in front of the warriors and puts the crown on the girl's head, thereby depriving her of her superpowers and taking her with him. While Vincent is scaring Ava, the girl has terrible visions. She finally regains consciousness before leaving the exhausted girl in a dark alleyway. Vincent promises to pray for her before a drill destroys her. But suddenly, Miguel comes to the girl's aid. By some miracle, he also happens to have superpowers. He says that explanations can wait. Having dealt with the priest, Miguel and Ava run away. Lilith comes to Adriel and shows him her crusted hands. Ask for his help. The nuns load Vincent into a car and drive off in search of Ava, shaking the cops on the way. The young people are finally safe, and Miguel returns Ava's crown and admits that he was sent from the other side of the arch to protect her. As they talk, a crowd of primitives in gas masks passes them, and Ava guesses that a new punishment awaits the city. In the meantime, the nuns get stuck on the road because of a flat tire. Miguel leads Ava to the gates of a cemetery, assuring her that he knows a way to destroy Adria. All the while, the girl keeps seeing terrible visions, but she tries not to pay attention to them. After stealing a food delivery car, the nuns drive on, and Camilla recalls that the entire company has been hungry for a long time. After rummaging through the shelves, the girls find something they can refresh themselves with, unusually shaped cakes that go down well with the sisters. Julian arrives at the building she recently bought, and in the center, the doctor sees a ritual cross and sectarians. Christian is also among them. Julian asks Christian to explain what he has been doing all this time with your company in the building. Instead, Christian begins to talk about the all-powerful Adria, who will soon conquer the whole world. Beatrice arrives at the cemetery looking for her friend, but the gas Adriel sprays as part of the subsequent execution makes you scared. The girl removes a gas mask from one of the firstborns. Miguel and Ava daringly walk into Adrian's sex church, and the two witness a ritual in which a demon possesses a teenager. Ava wonders how to stop all of this, but Miguel asks her to protect the crown and steps forward to take the hit. The guy's plan works. He lets himself be possessed by the demon and then paints in blue. He banishes it to show the sectarians what's really going on in the church. Mother Superior leads Vincent out of the car and into the woods to finish him off. But the woman doesn't have the strength to shoot him, so she simply pushes him into a ravine and inflicts some mutilation. Ventris arrives at the church just as the commotion begins, some trying to escape and some trying to expel Miguel, thinking that he's the one who brought the devil. The three of them are trapped and hugging her friends. Eva activates the halo. Audrey tells Lilith that their destinies are intertwined and they will conquer the world together. Feeling important for the first time, the girl believes the imposter. Miguel, Ava, and Beatrice manage to escape from the church, but now they risk being caught by the police or other fanatics. So, the guy offers a haven. His house. Adriel tells Louis about Ariella, the girl he loves, and to whom he gave his halo. The prophet dreamed that together, they would create a religion based on truth. Mother Superior also tells the nuns this story. When the angel first came to Earth 1,000 years ago, he made an underground upside-down church. But Ariella prayed for a long time to find the truth, and God answered the girl. He sent her a crown that was to stop the imposter, Adriel, and Mother Superior, and simultaneously tell this story. But each does it differently. The nun thinks that Ariella saw evil in the prophet. Adrian tells Lilith that the crown corrupted the beloved, and she betrayed him. Ariella put the crown on the prophet's head, and he was imprisoned in a cave in which he spent 1,000 years, except that the girl paid for it with her own life and Mother Superior and warrants Ava that no one has ever managed to defeat Adriel and survive. The company arrives at Jillian's house, from which Lilith's signal was last heard, but the doctor asks the guests to leave. McGill then asks to tell the woman that her son is here. Seeing the boy, who is much older than the day they last met, Jillian falls into his neck and cannot hold back her tears. The nuns try to find out from the doctor where Lilith has gone, but Jillian cannot answer the question. The only thing the doctor can tell is that the girl's physical and mental health has severely deteriorated. Mother Superior and goes outside to talk on the phone. The bishop asks the abbess to come to a secret meeting where further struggles with Adrian will be decided. McGill, who's really Michael, comes into his childhood room and looks at the drawings he drew when Adrian manipulated him. Camilla hears someone's voice again. And is Scott in a frightened state by Beatrice? Camilla confesses that after being stripped on the back by one of the sisters in the convent, the girl is suffering from severe headaches, and her friend suggests that she have a little examination. Jillian recalls the day Michael ran into the portal once on the other side. The boy wondered, alone for a long time. And then the shining angels took him to Rhea, the Lord of A. It was she who trained the angel, and then sent him to Earth to stop the evil. The abbess and Yasmin arrive at the meeting with the priests, where everyone is already gathered. The archbishop begins talking about Adrian, calling him a wolf in sheep's clothing. Meanwhile, the charlatan himself continues to tell Lilith about himself, complaining about his life in the dungeon. Angel offers to show his friend his difficult fate, and to do so, he places burning fingers over his eyes. Jillian shows her son the face that ended up on her tape, and from what he sees, the boy faints. Ventress does a scan of Camilla's spine, and during the procedure, the girls are being frank with each other. One of the nuns confesses that she has doubts about Adrian, but if you really turn out to be the prophet, all the scriptures will lose their significance. The picture shows a cross inserted into Camilla's spine, which is what is causing the hallucinations. Unfortunately, Beatrice cannot remove it. Adrian asks Lilith for forgiveness for the pain, but he convinces her to open his eyes. When the burns come off, the girl sees demons and a completely different world, which she calls the truth. Beatrice finds Avery in the courtyard as she's practicing putting a wreath on the monument's head. But the halo goes off again, and the girl falls. The nun tries to support the friend and assures her that they will defeat Adrian no matter what it takes. Christian meets Vincent and Arc Jack and reminds him that in just 2 days, they will give the world to their master. A discussion breaks out at the meeting of priests. Some doubt Adrian's con game and believe that one cannot punish an angel without understanding his true purpose. At this, Bishop Francesco reveals to his colleagues the secret of the architect, urging them to realize that all the punishments sent were nothing more than a trick. Mother Superior intervenes in the dispute, telling of the destruction of the members of the order. Apparently, the bishop and abbess have succeeded in convincing the crowd, but suddenly it transpires that half of those assembled are traitors, having defected to Adrian's side. A massacre of fanatics begins in the hall, and Mother Superior succeeds in removing only Francesco and Yasmin. The trio hides in the hotel gymnasium, but they can no longer get out, and Mother Superior then calls Camille for help. Ava, Beatrice, and Michael arrive at the inn, but the firstborns prove to be too many, and the trio fears they cannot win. After examining the photograph of the cross in the spine and noticing a note from Beatrice, Julian looks at Camilla through the glasses while she prays and sees the same waves that created the portal. The doctor guesses that Adrian is using the power of prayer to gain strength. Having heard the call, surviving nuns of the order arrive at Jillian's house. Ava takes the crowd of firstborns away, and Beatrice and Michael deal with the remaining two. The abbess commands her subjects to leave, but the bishop refuses. Determined to expose Adrian to the vault, running from her pursuers, Ava runs through a wall and finds herself outside at a great height. The girl's halo shuts down again, and she falls. Beatrice mourns your friends, but she opens your eyes, and the artifact begins to glow again. Bishop surrenders to the traitors, hoping they will lead him to Adrian. The imposter angel himself, meanwhile, tells Lilith how much they will accomplish together, after they cleanse the world with pain. The Master's distrust inspires the girl so much that she grows wings. And that concludes episode 5. Thanks for watching. If you are new, don't forget to subscribe for more of these recaps.